deployed by Pablo. Still, though, the block is there, and it's only a level 2 time walk. The cooldown's quite substantial. They will glimpse it back. They're going to bring Swift Ending in. But Yosef Fun has the high ground, and they will force out the Shrine. So, mini victory overall for Planet Dog there. Queen of Pain, level 6, not quite up. They're going to look to make their move. Avatos with the orbs splashing through. Don't have the damage.
She's so tanky. She didn't even opt for those raindrops, but she's still not being, like, well, I mean, she's getting scratched, definitely, by the combo, but most mids can't deal with this kind of repeated pressure. That's the advantage of running this IO, is that Tiny just has unlimited mana. You can pretty much every single time it's off cooldown, you can just go for it. And the other thing is you can't ever go for like the reverse toss combination where you chuck the enemy mid back onto your side of the river. Skywrath would love to take advantage of that, but now they're
trying to make their move though. They time it right. Alliance surging into position. They get the Avatos combo with Handskin tethering in, and the kill secured as Milan had stepped away for just a moment. Wanted to, I guess, head towards that rune, but pays the piper.
Yeah, it's right before Queen of Pain at level 6. Again, not too big of a deal. It's almost expected, but still, the Alliance have definitely been fishing for that one for a long time.
Meanwhile, perhaps the bigger kill bottom is Yonison Fan. One last auto attack from J4. We'll bring him down. Time walk just not enough, and this is the power of Clinks. He's a deceptively dangerous hero in the early game. Is Pablo
33
somehow...
is just eating the Skywrath.
What happened?
I'm not particularly sure.
I missed that one, unfortunately. Looks like a gush into an anchor smash and just ran him down. Doesn't have Ravage yet.
This early gush is being slept on, I guess, because the Skywrath is just not able to deal with it. All this move speed and somehow still falling victim to anchor smashes. And this Tidehunter doesn't even have boots. He just has a Windlaze, but he's still somehow managing to catch up to this turbo Skywrath.
I mean, the big change with Gush was the mana cost got quite a bit cheaper at some point, right? I think it used to be like 110 or 120. But still, this is... If you're feeding a Tide early, you're going to have a bad time later on, man. By the way, he's holding a point. He is not taking the Ravage yet. All right, now he will. I was going to say, I'm not sure if there's a next level Tidehunter play where you just skip your Ravage. But
yeah, because if you were running a IO strategy, you really want to be able to dictate the pace of fights. You want to say, okay, we've got vision up and running in the enemy jungle, per se, and no one's around. We're going to be able to go for a gank and no one's going to be able to stop us. Tidehunter gets a good start, then you don't get that luxury anymore. Tidehunter is the one who's like, oh, I've got Ravage, I've got Blink. We can start a fight. We're the ones who are going to be able to play around our cooldowns.
And he's generally not susceptible to the Tiny combo, right? Like, you're going to need a +1 at least beyond the IO Tiny, maybe even 2. So you go on the Tide, he has the Ravage, he likely turns that fight around. As long as these outer towers are up for Planet Dog, I feel like they're in a really good position to punish any aggression by Alliance. So perhaps we see Alliance just content to farm and play it safe. Wait for that Tiny Blink. Go for some pickoffs, but for now, the one hero I suppose we haven't really talked too much about is Limp on this Veno. Not doing anything too exciting. Has gone for the headdress. Probably see those early utility items for the team grabbing. Well, he gets the Basilius for now, but I imagine this will just be still like a quick mech for the team in all likelihood.
Either that or it's like gearing up towards the Flads, actually, which...
Flads Venom. Could be. 3-3's there with the Ravage. Good early rotation by Swift Ending, and Pablo has to TP out, but they've got the vision through the trees with that Kraken... Or sorry, the Anchor Smash again. Another takedown by 3-3. Well, this Tidehunter's a problem now. Has participated in 4 of 5 kills for the team, and 3 of those kills have been the Skyrat. Death by his own Anchor.
And that Clinks was cursing the hell out of the road. I don't even know when he managed to slip out of the bot lane, but he slipped out, he ate something, and he managed to go and get a kill.
Okay. So apologies, folks. Apparently our stream needs to have the delay fixed. So we're going to take it down for a second here. We will be restarting it. It will go down for about 5 minutes, and you'll come back right about this moment in the game. Do apologize, but stay with us.
A perfect angle that there's no way that you even needed to commit the Static Storm. They sat on it. Venomancer not really, he can panic Poison Nova if he wants, but at the same time, sometimes as a disruptor, you're like, okay, well, what if, some Faceless Void Chrono comes out or something? Maybe we should get the Static Storm, but they didn't see any relocate teleport image showing up on their minimap. They're like, we can just sit on the Static Storm. Unless we see that, there's no reason to use this Disruptor ultimate.
What do you think of this choice by Era? Looks like he wants to go for a Midas, or at least was considering it previously. Midas on like tiny IO mid definitely did not used to be a thing. I haven't personally seen the combo in action in the more recent version, where obviously Midas has kind of seen a renaissance, is a lot more popular nowadays. Do you like the choice? Do you think that's what Alliance need to get back in this?
I also have not seen it too much, which is what leads me to believe that it's like a reactionary play to how the lanes have been going. But at the same time,
it's not like Alliance went to this game like, oh, let's just get a farm tiny and then get a Midas. It's like, shit, we have to do something.
Exactly. And it's not so dire that I mean, he's got it completed at 13 minutes. Wasn't like meanwhile bot lane.
Fun caught out, glimpsed on back. He does get off the time dilation, but not escaping that one. While Swift ending, who initially looked like he wanted to go straight into the Desolator to stop off for this medallion, but now heading back towards it in fantastic shape. Already one Mithril Hammer picked up, so all of a sudden your Clinks is packing heat with a potential, what is it, minus 14 armor, I want to say. Meanwhile, Hanskin next on the list, bodied at the shrine.
Wow, I'm surprised even, I mean, like, there's no way he could have known. There's no way you expect 4 enemy heroes to be at your offlane shrine. But an IO teleporting just by himself, you'd think that they wanted someone else to teleport to defend this bot tier 1 if they did want to defend it, and then IO +1 would come in with a relocate play. But instead, IO just showed up all by himself and unfortunately walked face first into a gank, and this tier 1 tower is going to go down with relative ease.
Yeah, so that 5-man pressure mounts. They have Static Storm ready, they have Ravage ready. Pipe is coming soon for 3-3. Milan even closing in on his blink on the Earthshaker. Basically, just about the dream start for Planet Dog, aside from Queen of Pain having a rough time of it. But Kaiser, I think, handling the pressure well. He went for those early nulls. He's got his basics up. Now moving towards a Yule Scepter, which will be a good tool to potentially just live through the Skywrath silence. Can just Yules it off and then re-engage. So basically, Planet Dog, dream start for them. They're not really that far ahead, but they seem very confident now, and Response Alliance are stacking up the Midases. Now Jonas found grabbing a second. So Alliance playing the more long-term economy game here. Can they get away with double Midas? Like, if I'm Planet Dog, I see these 2 Midases, I want to fight right now, Tsunami.
You do, but you are somewhat married to 33's Ravage. All of them have a great start right now, sure, but if you want to confidently be able to team fight, meanwhile, Skywrath, Chrono, Milan, dead.
Yeah, nice catch there.
Didn't even go for, well, he didn't have the mana for Mystic Flare, so, I mean, that's ideally why these 2 heroes are roaming around, but gets the kill on the Earthshaker instead.
And good news, I suppose, Planet Dog, you know Chrono's on cooldown. They're going to push it now, so they take the tier 1. Not that I imagine Alliance would have defended that anyway, but Alliance are looking to play the split push game here. Era is going straight into the Ags build and has picked himself up the point booster, so they'll slow the game a bit down. But J4, meanwhile, could be in position here to spring a trap. He's going to have his smoke broken. Jonas going for the TP out, drops the cage, doesn't have the glimpse.
Yeah, unfortunately,
vision,
kinetic field only gives vision in the middle of the field. It doesn't give vision on the rim, and so more often than not, I've seen that happen wherever teams, like, they'll put down the kinetic field and people will be like, why didn't you glimpse him? But only inside, like, the middle radius of it and the middle 300-ish. But yeah, his smoke popped. Unfortunately, was not able to get that kill. But still, I mean, Jonas he's not confident if he doesn't have that chrono up.
Yeah, that's really the dream scenario, buying a lot of time for the chrono to cool down. Meanwhile, Planet Dog not pressuring that next level of towers. I believe the Deso is complete. Swift Ending's got it on the courier. Pipe is ready. So the 5-man ramps up further. The single target burst ramps up. And on top of that, potentially they can walk into this Roche pit now. Will Alliance consider contesting them there if they want to go for it? You've got Medallion, you've got Deso. Roche is a pretty quick kill. Alliance not really super itemized here for like big 5-man team fight, right? Like Limp has the mech, but there's no Veil for the Veno. The Void has got Midas, so he's not in super fighting shape. Tiny, not really much of a combat hero yet, just the Blink Dagger. So I imagine if Planet Dog wanted to force a Roche fight, they would have a pretty big leg up on Alliance at this stage.
Both teams are adapting very well to their basic state of how the game is going. I mean, right now, Alliance do have a net worth lead, but it doesn't feel like it at all. They don't seem to be dictating the pace, and like you said, they're going for this Roche. Desolator freshly completed onto that Clink, so you can just go straight into the pit. And I mean, there's no way Alliance feel confident in challenging that. You've seen one Ravage all game long. 33 is itching to pull it off again.
I mean, in theory they have a gold lead, right? But it's like almost 5,000 gold, 4,500 gold invested into Midas's. So when you factor that into account, for now at least, they're technically, or I think for practical purposes, they are behind as far as combat worthiness goes.
Yeah, this is not fighting net worth by any means. I mean, I'm surprised even Venomancer went for that early mechanism. You were right. He did go for that. And
why not 3 Midas?
Why not? Top lane.
Again, J4 just a bit. It'll star-crossed here with these kinetic fields. Or will blink out, so split pushing successfully. Well, they might not have any of the old squad, but they've still got their old style as far as the rat Dota goes.
I feel like at times they're like, guys, we can win another way. We don't have to do these kinds of split push tactics all the time. And then the game just somehow devolves into them being like, dude, what if I just push one lane and you just put, oh, wait, that's split pushing. We're doing it again.
And this is always the parachute, right? You know,
right.
It's always seems to be the plan B is. Plan B is never for like Alliance as long as I can remember. Like, all right, shit's not working. Let's go 5-man and fight. It's always let's split push, let's farm, let's stall, let's dodge, and well, they're doing a decent job of it. You know, I mean, like you said, they're technically still in the lead as far as gold goes. They're not hemorrhaging kills any longer. They're getting their next round of items now. The Veil out for the Venomancer. Tiny closing in on his Ags quite rapidly. We'll have it soon. The Void closes in on Shadowblade. Big pickup here to just find those solo kills around the map. He's going to use the Shadow Amulet to try and set things up in the trees. But much more decisive action for Planet Dog, just straight for the tower.
Starting to knock on these tier 2s, the first one for Alliance, but they've managed to keep up in terms of towers. I mean, the score is tied in terms of structures claimed, and both teams are on opposite sides of the map. We'll see when one finally feels like defending. I mean, it comes to base race situation, Alliance doesn't have their Aghanims completed on Era, so I give the Clinks the edge at this stage right now, and it looks like they're going to take advantage of that edge.
Yeah, you say base race, it's 20 minutes, but it's not showing too much signs that they want to defend. They'll finally bring Limp back, but Clinks from the low ground getting to work on this tower is going to force them to TP home with some, though Era sticks around bottom lane. The Ags is ready now, but has to get that Blade of Alacrity delivered. So now things have slowed down a little bit. Seems like a clear chess match here where Planet Dog want to force the issue. They want to apply pressure. They want to 5-man. They want to take fights if possible. Alliance want to stall. They want to farm. They want to angle more for late game. Also, this Courier wants to take a trip into certain doom if he sticks around, but Kaiser does not see him, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, given the dichotomy right now, do you see like a timer for either team? Is there a point where Alliance just takes over going late, or?
In both situations, both teams can crack the game open off of one team fight because we haven't really seen the full extent of the capabilities of a 5-on-5 engagement at all. And that's what everyone's been gearing up for. Tidehunter is still working on that pipe, or the Greaves now, actually. So, well, I mean, Mac and then Greaves, but yeah, he didn't actually go for the full pipe, probably because they're not encountering many team fights.
Oh, no, he does have it. It was in the backpack, actually.
Yeah, so Venomancer has already lost a lot of efficacy without even putting Poison Nova on cooldown a single time yet.
The Plague Ward deny. Well played by Mr. Limp. A small step perhaps for him, but a bigger leap for Alliance is Milan. First hit bash, right as he sees the Faceless Void. He was actually mid-enchant totem, I believe there. Very unfortunate. He had some fun pulling out his inner shadow and summoning the Bash Lord. But he did get the ward up. So let's see if they can punish you out of some fun.
Yeah, this Clink's hunting. He wants to eat this wild cannon and then immediately do something with it.
And there's a Plague watching.
Yeah, and he doesn't have an Orchid either, so there's no way he's going to be able to stop Void from time walking away. Now, looks like Alliance get to force Planet Dog back as 33 moves down to the Radiant off lane. And they're pretty split. Swift Ending wants to push. He still has his Aegis, and they've been looking for ways to expend it, but he's only going to have it for like one more minute and might exploit it here.
This is where Clinks is really in his prime, basically topping the net worth chart, has the Aegis, has a freshly death pacted creep, and wants to apply pressure on the back of that. You know, having some fun. Chilling on Shadowblade, looking for potential setup opportunity here. Not going to find it though.
He's been feeling pretty good ever since completing that Shadow Blade, found that kill on the Earthshaker, and really the only thing that he needs to be concerned about is the Disruptor, because as we saw in that Earthshaker kill, Earthshaker's not really quick enough to be able to chain disable the Faceless Void unless if they already know where the Void is in advance. Earthshaker does have his blink completed, so if they manage to get good vision on the map, which you can see they had aggressive wards, the one that Earthshaker plays before dying got countered out, but they have another one inside the Dire jungle. They really want to be able to find someone farming and just collapse on them, but Alliance are doing a good job at staying safe on the map.
Yeah, hugging the base, and then mostly sending the Tiny, the Io, and the Void out for the split push. So generally running these little like these little two-man squads with some fun and
the buddy
Pablo.
System.
Yeah, largely sticking around like a good scuba diving team, Don't ever scuba dive alone, folks. Learn that in Kauai. But not the hard way, fortunately.
Either. It looks like Tiny wants to show up inside, and he's got that Aghanim Scepter completed. He's not actually hanging out with Io right now, but Io can very quickly join up with the Venomancer and relocate in, which is something that might happen in this Clinks.
Dire Scan does detect Swift Ending. Unfortunately, he is a very scary target to go on, especially if he's eating a creep. Quite
no
tanky.
detection either. Tiny has a dust, but they cancel the TP. Swift Ending briefly shows himself.
Thinking about a re-engage. Alliance just doing a good job at threatening to go for these little ganks around the map, but kind of abusing Planet Dog's lack of mobility. What they have in 5-man, they don't really have so much in their ability to get around the map. Like, the Clinks is pretty mobile, and the Queen of Pain is, but the actual like meat of the team fight is not. The Shaker, the Disruptor, the Tide, all these heroes are fairly clunky in comparison, so Alliance have done a good job at just spreading the map.
Yeah, especially with the itemization that specifically the Tide Hunter has gone for. It's a heavily defensive item build, and so he's not, usually sometimes...
You're not going on Tide now, that is for sure.
Exactly.
But I think Alliance is okay with that. They probably didn't want to go on him too much anyway.
And he didn't want to go in on the enemy team. He would have gone more aggressive. Like a lot of teams, they'll be like, we got to use Ravage. Every single time it's off cooldown, it's our time to take advantage of what we picked this hero for. But it looks like they wanted to pick him as just a raid boss. You just stick him around and he can farm aggressively and no one can really punish him. We haven't seen a single relocate gank this entire game.
Honestly, if I'm Alliance, I'm sitting pretty right now. They went for double Midas after losing the laning stage. They really haven't had to take a fight since then. We've barely seen any action. They've just been farming the whole time. So, meanwhile, Planet Dog have gone all combat items, all kind of mid-game focused, and they took Roche. That was their big prize. They pressured some towers, but Alliance traded in turn, so it's only a one-tower lead as of now. I think Alliance have to feel pretty good about at least how they've stabilized the game now.
Yeah.
Whether or not they can seize the momentum and find the fight. That does remain to be seen, and we're going to look for the opening now. That Tidehunter thought he was immortal. Is he, though?
Okay.
Gets the pipe off. The timely bashes there. Chuck him up. Knock him down. He drops fast, and they do get the kill as they do have a fresh Silver Edge completed. Jonas and Fan, so able to disable that Kraken shell and get to work.
Not that I'm pretty sure he wasn't too keen on ravaging that regardless, but that's definitely going to mitigate Tidehunter's confidence even going around in team fights, because if Faceless Void just cleanly initiates onto Tidehunter and you immediately get a Skywrath Silence off, you just eliminated an entire hero with just one item and one spell. Is now Swift Ending wanting to go on Handscan.
Here, Io.
3.
Got him. Half his health down, and now the Fissure. They're looking for Era as well. The Echo Slam comes through. Enchant Totem times it just right. And that's the feeling that Planet Dog have been searching for. A clean takedown, a Tidehunter for a Tiny Io. Overall, a trade I think they'll be pretty happy with.
And no BKB expended by Swift Ending. He was confident that his Earthshaker was going to follow up, and beautiful chain stun onto the Tiny, made sure that they got that kill. And now Roche is back up again. They confirm it. 2 heroes are down, but Io will be coming up soon, but this Clinks just chews through it.
The BKBs are a really big power spike for Planet Dog. Is like, where is the physical damage on Alliance? It's basically late game, maybe it's Tiny, maybe it's Void, but at this stage they don't really have it. So as long as you get your BKBs off, you're likely not dying on these cores who have both completed them. So a lot of confidence to walk into this Roach pit. Also knew Chronosphere was down until recently. Planet Dog will secure Aegis number 2. And along with it, some tasty cheese.
Yeah, these BKBs are great because another problem with what Planet Dog were kind of encountering for the past 10 or so minutes is there's no way to really half commit on a team fight. Their alliance hasn't been playing as 5, and if you're Planet Dog, you're not going to be like, okay, I can Echo Slam 2 or 3 heroes, I can Static Storm 2 or 3 heroes, I can Ravage 2 or 3 heroes. You have to spend all of your ultimates in conjunction with each other. But
What are with these first hit bashes by Yonasampan?
Man.
Are you kidding me? He's going to get glimpsed back, though, and into the Cage of Doom. Static Storm's there. Clicks is there. Faceless Void's corpse is also there as they quickly take him down. That was a very ambitious go on mid.
Yeah, and they only had to use one ultimate for that. That's what I'm saying. That you are, if Planet Dog, anytime you can only just spend 1 or 2 ultimates to get a kill, that's exactly the kinds of openings that allow you to start snowballing. Is now Era on the run, Handskin.
Oh, they got the vision on Handskin. It's going to be like 2 shots for the clicks. They'll be able to bring him down here. The Glimmer Cape, oh, sorry, that's an Invis rune actually. Not enough as they do pop the dust and crack that IO open.
And for a second I was concerned that IO kind of like gave up that Era was there, and Era immediately blinked out. He's like, no, you don't stick to me. You're just going to die alone.
No tether for you.
But that's two kills in quick succession, and again, not that no BKBs expended, no real spells expended aside from the Static Storm, which is going to be up in 20 seconds, so they're going to be able to take this tier 2 last outer tower for Alliance, most likely uncontested. And we'll see if Alliance can create pressure on mid in return, but I don't think they're going to have the time.
We're going to try for it. Azera clears out this wave. Does start to move into position with Pablo by his side, but hesitant to engage onto the tower, knowing that if the Disruptor is in the neighborhood, they could quickly give up 1, maybe 2 kills trying to jump away. So instead they farm. They will not trade towers, just forfeit 1 freely, and that is the last outer tower for Alliance now down. This Planet Dog push a bit into the lead, and starting to look like this Qualifier team might have a little more up their sleeves than what many might have been expecting.
Yeah, and they're ready to rock and roll for a legitimate team fight now. Tidehunter has now completed his Blink Dagger, so not only is he incredibly defensive, but he's ready to be incredibly offensive as well. As Clinks is going to siege from the low ground.
Jesus, that damage.
He's got the Aegis as well. He's got his 10-second BKB. When do you feel confident going on this Clinks?
Like, you have to kill him 100 to 0, or he BKBs. He's got the, or rather, even if you do, he lets the Aegis pop, then he BKBs, and you're certainly not killing him then. And meanwhile, there's so much counter-initiation around that with the Blink Ravage. The main play is just try to force them back, it seems, and that's what Alliance will successfully do. They push in that top tower. Tiny IO slowing things down again. Era and Handskin will now retreat. Let's got a nice deep ward down here. J4 marching through, but does not have any sentries, at least not as of yet. Curious to see if they grab a gem with the Shadow Blade also on the Void at some point, rather than Silver Edge.
Yeah, this is a great timing for a gem. The fact that you've basically secured every single outer tower, the enemy does not have very much space to farm, and you are very mobile now. We had said initially, like, you know, the other heroes, the non-core heroes, are kind of cumbersome, as now Disruptor.
Oh, he missed the last hit. Sad times for the Disruptor. About 30 gold short of that next component.
Though for what it's worth, he is very close to the Zagan except for his now Milan going in.
Is it feed time?
Looks like it.
Apparently feed o'clock. This Planet Dog will just give up a couple freebies.
2 kills and almost certainly a tower to follow.
No buyback on the Shaker either. So Alliance will now move on to this tier 2. Wailing away at it with the big club.
Spots the Chrono top. Relocate gank.
They want the Queen of Pain, has the cheese, has the BKB. He does pop it. Now he looks to turn. He thought about going for the IO and committing for Handskin, but Handskin a bit too tanky to bring down. So Kaiser, 300 gold spend there, but does make it out. Now Handskin trying to tether away and will get the hell out. Pablo there to drag him back towards freedom. So a couple of good moments as Alliance outmaneuvered Planet Dog around the map.
Yeah, that cheese timing was so close to death. And Handskin, I mean, this Jonas had the perfect initiation, but just the relocate came a little bit too late, but he gets away. You spend a 10-second BKB charge, you consume the cheese, so still a very profitable engagement for Alliance. And They're continuing to take advantage of the fact that they have these 2 minuses. Network lead has swung back again in favor of Alliance, after it briefly dipped in the favor of Planet Dog, but
Do you like them better going late, Tsunami? Like, does Alliance have the edge there? Do you feel?
I never count Alliance out, especially when they have a combination like IO Tiny, because the more Era gets farmed, the bigger a threat Backdoor becomes, and Planet Dog don't really have the best anti-push heroes. You can kind of discourage it with Disruptor, but Disruptor can also just get obliterated in a matter of seconds. So depending on, again, how these team fights go, it really is going to dictate which team is going to be able to confidently go into the late game, because the game is still on a precipice right now.
All right, let's see if Alliance want to take a step off that precipice anytime soon. For now, team settle down, go back to farming. The one thing I suppose also to be mentioned about Clinks, generally as a hero, we see he's kind of like a mid-game power spike type hero where against, I'd say compared to a lot of other like safe laners, he tends to fall off a little bit. He's not necessarily the best man fight hero, more of an assassin, like a pick-off specialist. Great at sieging if left unchecked, but Swift Ending has gone for those mid-game items. You saw first the Desolator came out, he going for BKB, now he's grabbed the Dragon Lance and into the Diffusal Blade, so a bunch of pretty cheap, cost-effective, mid-game style items, but hold that thought as Alliance are looking to make their move. Fissure was committed, and they're gonna jump. They want Kaiser, they find him too. Mystic Flare's there, layered over the top. Swift Ending just gets a few auto attacks off on Yonasan Fan, but the Fissure actually hurts him. Is Milan, he absolutely airballs the Echo. Now he's gonna pay. Yonasan Fan there with the BKB. One more swing of that club will bring him down. Alliance just being fed these kills, and Hanskin staying alive with the Glimmer Cape. He will make it back to safety, at least for now. Swift Ending got dust. And got dusted, I should say. Had to run. Alliance, they fight too. Yet to see that 5-man team fight.
And you're not going to see it for 40 seconds. Queen of Pain has no buyback.
Alliance. They have a Disruptor Eggs, but they don't have a Static Storm to go with it. And Alliance, forget about base racing, forget about backdooring. They're doing this the good old-fashioned way. They're going to force, at least for now, Planet Dog on their heels. I don't know if I've ever seen a game fall apart more quickly when it looked dead even.
And it wasn't even a full 5-on-5 team fight that had it kind of get dismantled. It was just 2 key pickoffs. Clinks not being able to really get any retribution in exchange and just straight up lose a tier 3 and a little bit of damage on your tier 3 top.
Era now a completed Assault Cuirass, so a bigger and bigger stick is emerging here for the little rock that has become a mountain. Alliance are starting to surge into control, and Planet Dog at 36 minutes in, it at one point was, I think, 5-0 or 5-1, and it's just been very quiet these last 25 odd minutes or so.
And it's difficult to say, like, okay, so they had that first Aegis. Should they have pushed the advantage more, and should they have maybe, been more gank heavy than as opposed to the kind of farm heavy that kind of came after they took every single outer tower? But I give credit to Alliance just playing in such a way that, I'm sure Planet Dog did want to play that way, it's just they couldn't find anything. Even now they can't find anything. They're fighting for these wards.
The Ward Wars, the great Ward Wars of 2017, raging on here in Europe.
And Yonasan Fan, he's got his chrono up. He did spend his 10-second BKB earlier, but...
I think Tiny did as well.
Right.
Still very healthy, though. And BKBs are also a great solution for Alliance this game. There's Clink's physical damage, there's the Quap Bolt, and there's a Disruptor Ags if you get it off in advance.
Right.
So there's really not much to deal with these BKBs.
But now it looks like Planet Dog, they're not wanting to take any risks like what had things fall apart in that mid lane. They're sticking around as 5. They're bodyguarding this Queen of Pain. Alliance are kind of mirroring this movement. They smoke up, moving towards the Radiant secondary jungle. They're not going to find anything, but that is honestly okay even if they don't find anything, because they can easily transition into a tier 3 push.
And they even have that wards. They see nobody is lurking on the high ground right now for Planet Dog. Alliance could gank the base, and when you've got a Tiny this farmed, that's a very positive outcome for your team, potentially. Let's see if Planet Dog are able to reach Alliance's high ground in time. They creep up bottom lane. Clinks would love to get his grubby paws on this tower and take it down nice and early, but afraid to show himself. Disruptor is going to TP out.
Yeah, this just shows how much they kind of got in. They lost that fight, and things have made them feel far less confident now. We saw earlier Swift ending was just like, oh, whatever, I can siege this. He did have an Aegis earlier when he was sieging that tier 3 bot, but even this time he had his whole team behind him. They're just like, I don't think we can do this. And that invasion by Alliance was perfect timing. I don't know. Okay, yeah, Limp puts down a ward, confirms that third Roche is up. They don't really have exceptional vision in the immediate vicinity around the pit, and that one high ground ward that they had inside of the Radiant base has been countered out by Tidehunter's gem. So we'll see if Planet Dog are able to start clearing out some of this vision that Alliance established. And it looks like they are.
You know, I don't know if I've seen a better start for Tidehunter in years, honestly. It's not been a super popular hero. Really only Newbie that ran him as of late, and generally not for his lane dominance was he picked. But he's been so quiet, Tsunami. We just haven't seen much out of the Tidehunter, and you know, going late game, Faceless Void was, for a long time, has been one of like the late game counters, I would say, to Tidehunter, because you generally get a BKB, so he can't ravage you. You chrono him, and he's not crackening that off. As long as you have enough burst to dump it, the chrono, you can deal with him. So I'm looking at Planet Dog, and I'm just wondering, like, when are they gonna find that big team fight? Obviously, if Alliance want to come high ground, then you know, they'll have a good 5v5 opportunity, but short of that, we haven't really seen the Tidehunter get much done. Milan's kind of airballed several opportunities to initiate. Queen of Pain had a rough start and has been okay, but not able to take over. And Clinks is at that point where with the items he's got, he's going to start falling off. So just looking around, I'm kind of looking around Planet Dog, like who is going to step up to the plate here?
You might see it now. They're going in. They don't really have very good vision, even though they had the pit, but this might be
bashes, and they get in. The dunk's there. A quick silence, though, prevents the fall. Milan's going to back away, but the Static Storm, decently timed. Jonas and Fun managed to get off the BKB, but he goes onto the Clinks. That's a tanky hero to focus down. He doesn't have the damage. He's got to back away. And meanwhile, to the north, Queen of Pain engages. Will bring down Pablo, but in your face, Tiny is there with the club, takes the Rex down. Alliance say, thank you very much for taking our bait.
They compromise a gem, and they're going to give up Roche, but that's still pretty solid for Alliance.
And they're going to give up more if this Queen of Pain gets caught timely on the Yules. Good catch there. They want to bring the IO down, but Handskin with the Glimmer Cape, and they're going to chuck Swift ending up in the air, bring him back down to earth. When the BKB wears off, there might be an opening, though. There's no IO supporting Era right around the Rosie. Pocket full of posies. Dead Tiny, likely to be the result. The raid boss has been conquered. They'll take him down, but the trade, of course, is this Queen of Pain, who gets slowed down by Jonas and Fawn and eventually killed off. Somehow Handskin lived with that Glimmer Cape. Tethers away to safety. Alliance, overall, a win for them, unless we see more for Planet Dog. They're trying to find Handskin, but there's the buyback. Lib's going to get back into this, blinking towards the pit and dropping the ward. Now he engages, but into the Ravage he goes. Echo Smash there. That frees up the Tiny, who can re-engage, not having to worry about that big AoE. The Roche is low. It's not dead yet. Still the Roche stands. The bash is coming out all over the place. And Milan will snag the Aegis. He force-staffs his way over the chasm, but now no Ravage. And only your support Shaker wielding that Aegis. He'll die once. He'll likely die twice. They chase for more. They fight 3-3. They're going to bring him down too. The Tidehunter gets clubbed, and Alliance take not only a Rex, but a lot of kills to their name.
2 buybacks spent on Alliance, but that's absolutely worth it. Initially, I considered that aggression on the Queen of Pain in the mid lane to be kind of overconfidence by Era, because he was just like, oh, we just got this Rax. They just spent so many cooldowns trying to kill inside that Roche pit, and they went in. And as a result, Era did have to buy back, but the IO surviving was so important because he was managing to, like, he wouldn't have been able to buy back. And he's still alive, he's overcharging this Tiny, who's just chewing through these Raxes.
Never count out the Era Tiny, I suppose. That is the call for Alliance, especially if they get their hands on the Henskin IO. Might not be the strongest combo in this meta, at least, you know, it's not a go-to duo, but Alliance finding a way to make it work here. And so now Planet Dog under the gun. They did push in the top lane, they got the tier 3, but they need more than that. The Static Storm's the point, the Fissure's perfect. On point on the defense, at least for now, but the base is in shambles as this melee's about to drop. BKB from Era, re-engage as well. Now going to work on the range. All of a sudden, it's going to be full megas for Alliance. They might lose heroes, but the base is theirs, and likely the match as well. It's going to be a very difficult uphill climb. Planet Dog want to somehow get back in this game. They are not the best team against Mega Creeps. Clinks is awful. Tidehunter's middling. Queen of Pain's not that great with this build. And they're really going to struggle even to approach Alliance's side of the map from here on out.
So many very well-made decisions by Alliance. Yeah, don't count out the Aratani, or just in general, if split pushing is a viability, never count out Alliance. They always manage to find their openings and always manage to make the game on the edge of their seats for their fans. And we'll see how many, if any, buybacks will be spent. I mean, you're up against Megas, like you said, all these heroes with their builds, with their team comp in general, they can't make their way through waves very quickly. Era does not have a buyback as he had spent it initially to secure that Roche, but with the Void, with Chrono, with Poison Nova, Venomancer, with wards up, and oh man, Veno is so close to level 25, but he's not going to have it, unfortunately. Unless they go straight for tier 4s, I don't really know what Planet Dog can do.
Let's see what kind of decisiveness they have in store. They did get that tier 3 earlier, and that is the call onto the tier 4s. Alliance up mega creeps, but not having secured the game fully just yet. The tier 4 #1 is down. Looking for the second. The Ravage comes through. The Static Storm laid on top. A beautiful combination as Planet Dog sees momentum. They'll take down 2. Io buys back. Unfortunately, so too does the Void. They may have overplayed their hand here. Now the Chrono, the counterplay, locking down Kaiser. Creeps are pushing in top, and heroes are dying in the Alliance base. And not to the liking of Planet Dog. They almost lose Swift Any. Hurricane buying back, tries to make it out. Not going to happen. He gets decapitated. Now into 33, who likely will drop here as well. Double buyback, but they don't have the Tidehunter round 2. They don't have the big combo for that last fight. They thought about tier 4s, then they went back for heroes. Alliance had the buybacks. Seemed like the all-in throne play might have been slightly higher chance of success, but I mean, you can't really fault Planet Dog for that. They were under the gun in that push.
Yeah, and whenever you land a pretty solid Static Storm like that, it's very difficult to be like, no, leave them alone. It's an Aghanims. They're not going to be able to do anything. Let's just finish this off. And, you know, a big portion of the fact that they were able to destroy those tier 4s so quickly was mainly because Strafe was up. Once it comes down, it's difficult to say if they would have had the damage and the speed to be able to finish off the second one, but now you have 1 tier 4 remaining against Mega Creeps, against a Tiny with an AC and an Aghanim Scepter, and a full Daedalus completed. I don't really know what you can do with no Tidehunter.
Jonas Mbang is there with the first hit bashes. Get the swap. Meanwhile, Echo Slam committed. They found the Tiny. The Fissure's on point. Can they burst him down? They will. He's out for 90, but the throne is in jeopardy now as the creeps start to work on it. They have to win these hero kills, and then they also have to defend their base. Swift Ending trying to bring down Jonas Mbang. He can't quite do it. Kaiser gets locked in position. He'll be brought down, and the creeps are swarming, zerging their way into Planet Dog's homeland, and they've overrun the Dogs. Alliance will seize the game, and with it, to a 1-0 start here in the group stage.